That is a weird thing to know. Hi, my beautiful friends.
What's up, everybody?
Sorry we're a few minutes late. You guys all jumped in on it. You were excited.
Ready to go?
I love my people. Welcome to the Firing Pin Live, where we go live at the Firing Pin.
In the container.
In the container.
Yeah. Firing pin adjacent. Sorry.
Scary. Is this what it feels like to be smuggled in?
I wouldn't know.
It's pretty air conditioned in here.
It's
I
pretty.
think.
It doesn't smell as much.
It's not the same vibe.
It's not as many people.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfy. I don't know why everybody complains.
I do this all the time.
I'd go across the Atlantic Ocean in this.
I'd rather travel this way. Yeah,
Probably go across the Pacific, right?
I guess.
Unless you got like, I feel like Britain's not smuggling people in here.
Definitely not.
It's definitely more like a West Taiwan kind of thing.
Even true China, right?
No, Taiwan is true China. West Taiwan is
It's clarification on that.
the big red flag. Hi, friends.
These fellas.
Great conversations to start the stream. I don't know how we still have sponsors, but we got some
But we
sponsors.
do have
Speaking of sponsors, because we love you so much.
from Fairport, New York. You know them. You love them. Arms Preservation Inc. I have one of their ammunition can liners here.
It's actually been healing this ammo. I'm pretty impressed.
It's looking good.
Actually, I haven't been doing like any kind of comparisons over time, but you could be
I think we
right.
did this last. Do you remember what they looked like before? They were all like
I mean, vaguely.
they were roached, but honestly, like not bad now. I'm impressed.
So apparently the micro environment may have rehabilitative effects, is what you're saying.
The macro environment is working.
Excellent.
Hear me out. A bag the size of the chicken container.
I gotta breathe. Just pawing at the API.
Scratching away.
It's one way to get strong.
That is another. There's
You know,
another way. to
there's
get
a better
started.
way to get strong, and that's at the greatest. Voted the best.
Literally voted.
Mhm.
Leroy, New York. You can just have like fitness. You can be driven to fitness, but you should be beyond driven.
To fitness. And performance.
And performance.
Finish that thought.
I was ready for Pat to finish it.
Beyond driven fitness and performance on West Main Street in Illinois. Best gym in Genesee County. Maybe Western New York, possibly the world. I don't know.
I would say the world. I'd put them up against that.
At least the solar system, right?
There might be a gym in Alaska that's Alaska though.
You'd
Super
have,
dance.
to, you'd have to go pretty far to find a better gym.
Yeah,
Let's say that.
like across the country.
We'll go with that. So 24/7 access, right? They have a lot of great fitness programs over there, beyond boxing, cycling.
There's a bunch of silly
Cross-training.
geese today. Okay.
Some of us more than others, I would
Speaking
say.
of
But
silly,
Speaking of silly goose
that'll
squad, I
segue
guess.
into the. Well, we're more or less sponsoring them.
We are sponsoring Matt Wolf,
Pat, and
Silly
Buddha.
Goose.
Mhm.
Would that be? Would you be considered a Gosling?
Possibly,
A little silly Gosling.
I would go along with that.
Goofy Gosling.
Isn't Pat one of the pro shooters though, and the Silly Goose are the other like brand representative?
That's why he would be the Gosling because
He'd be the gander.
of the mountain.
No, yeah,
We're defining pro pretty loosely around here.
Bob's
That's
throwing
all right.
out OBJs over here. Storm the objective. We have an objective for tonight, actually. We'll get into that later.
We do.
We got lots of malarkey going on over here.
Hoopla even.
Donna, you're so welcome. I didn't help you, but you are welcome. for
Can't
that
believe
gift
she's
basket.
turning 21 again.
It's like the second time in a row. Bob also asks, when will the firing range be done? Great question. Glad you asked. I don't have an exact date. It was supposed to be early June. Some snafus with construction. It's construction. What do you expect? I'm hoping midsummer, the latest. So
at least end of
there's-
summer.
very little wood in this place for me to knock on, except for that door. Joe, hit that door for me. Hell yeah, definitely mid-June or midsummer now. Thanks, Joe. Patrick,
Yo.
how was your week, Ben? What'd you do? Anything special?
No, I got bit by a spider.
This is like the second time you've been bit by a spider that I've seen. What the fuck are you doing, dude?
I'm
just
just Spider-Man.
Dude, I'm just hanging out. My house.
Just hanging out.
So is the spider.
Just living my life. You know what I mean?
I want to know if it's the same spider. It's just got it out for you.
I don't know what their lifespan is. It's possible.
Well, with you working at getting swollen beyond German fitness, you do have.
Yeah, the swelling has
Better.
definitely helped that one calf, anyway. That one part of my leg. So yeah, that's what I've been up to this week. Is just I got a couple of trips to the hospital, to the emergency room, antibiotics and whatever.
You've developed any powers? Any new weird?
No, people keep
Fluids.
asking, and I'm really I'm being patient with it. I'm holding out hope,
Every now and again, he's like,
but no,
Just try.
I have the same amount of superpowers that I had before. So
That's just being a Patrick Kimball.
just the same amount, whatever amount.
Yeah, I haven't developed my powers yet either. Waiting for it.
Earth, Wind, Fire.
Somebody made a joke the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't even get powers out of it. It's bullshit. Could have at least got pyrokinesis.
Right, that would have been pretty sweet.
Jamma says that bite didn't look bad.
Oh, it looks even worse now.
I'll give you a worse one right now.
Please don't.
I'll jump this table.
Nobody needs that.
No.
If you get like ginger powers, it's kind of like the worst power.
I lose my soul.
Yeah.
No thank you.
Just suck the soul
You
right out of
live- you
you.
just go-
No thank you.
live forever.
It's a silly goose stream.
Y'all are wild.
Okay, so we went from like getting shipped in a shipping container across the Atlantic or Pacific
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
spider bites to ginger powers.
Segregate with the
Yeah.
bodies of water. Brandon decides to have another child, and all hell breaks
I mean,
loose.
at this rate, I'm surprised he hasn't. Maybe that's why he's not here. He had his fourth kid. he just had another.
That was fast.
He's just budding at this point.
That'd be wild.
Jesus.
It's great to see you, Robert. Thanks for joining the stream. So that's it? Bit by a spider? Nothing special?
That's literally the whole deal, man. I've been watching the boys that play baseball.
I thought you were going to say Amazon original, The Boys.
No,
Okay.
I haven't watched that one.
You haven't watched that?
That's a good one. You
No.
gotta watch it.
You've got to watch The Boys.
Don't do Gen V. It's a waste.
Yeah.
It's a waste of your time.
I don't. The problem is the superhero movies. They got played out real.
But that's
fast.
why you
That's
watch
the
The
point of
Boys.
The Because it's what those superhero movies, like, you don't think about the buildings all getting destroyed and people losing.
The corporate
Yeah.
aspect of being a superhero.
Alright.
Strongly recommend The Boys.
Okay,
One of the best shows.
I'll give it a watch. I'll give it a try.
You might even want to watch
At least
twice.
an episode or two. Well, I mean, how many episodes are there? A few.
There's a few seasons now.
Few
I kind of
seasons.
prefer that, actually. Like, I get excited when I see a show that has 3 seasons because
Yeah, I do too. but,
lazy Saturday I can just binge.
What if it's not good? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes or what if you're watching? Because I pretty much only watch TV with April.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching TV, there's about a 90% chance that we're watching TV, which means it has to be.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be engaging, right, for
I think
everybody.
she'll like
or
it.
it's not going to be.
I'm like,
It's not going to work.
binge streaming services, not
I do-
Arizona hard teas.
Those things are way too sweet, actually. That kiwi strawberry
There's a
thing.
lot. What's the
The
breakdown?
first mouthful that I took of it,
Ooh.
I was like, yeah, it caught me off guard. a little
Pretty good. I
But man, did I go in for a second.
They're I definitely finished it, but
could let this thing ruin my life.
Did you know these are licensed in Woodbury, New York?
did
I
not.
don't even know where Woodbury is.
Yeah,
It's right next to the other berries.
Steelberry. It's right next to Steelberry.
Waterbury.
North from Dingle.
Dingle, if you're watching us, we know you are. We're sorry. We didn't mean to.
Jingleberry. Okay. So Dad's not here, clearly.
Yeah, obviously Brandon's away.
Pat just looks like he's sick of our shit.
You guys are fine. It's all good.
My grandma hopes it wasn't a recluse spider.
You know what? I never actually.
Judge
People keep
by-
asking me
judge
if
by
I
the
saw
look of
the
it.
spider. I didn't actually physically see a spider. I was wearing pants at the time, and I just had an itch, and then I was like, oh my god, that itches. and then like later on I checked
You
it
probably
out.
already know. Probably know if it was
Yeah.
one of those by now.
Does it like stop your heart, or it just
His
decays?
leg would just fall off at
Necrosis?
that point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he just like lose all the muscle. and,
Yeah,
like,
it would just start to eat away.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time though.
You'd look like
There's like
I feel like by
there's
this
like a
time
bit of a
after,
progression.
I feel like by this time you would know. But
Spider bit Pat.
You can take a
Spider
peek
dive.
at it if you want.
I can tell you it wasn't Charlotte from Charlotte's Web.
Wasn't a
Yeah,
friend,
rest in peace.
wasn't a friendly spider.
That was a sad book.
You read?
I did, like second
yeah
grade.
when they like
When
made
they forced us to
made
do it.
I watched Click for I've seen Click a million times.
Sure.
Like under 13.
Yeah.
When it came out, and I watched it for the first time
Yeah.
as an adult like a week ago.
Mhm.
Damn,
If you
Like,
watch
it's
any of his newer stuff, it's like
dark,
some intense.
but like
there's
yeah, I
some
like
intense
it.
stuff that
Adam
Sandler's
Sandler's
bumping out.
killing it.
Sandler has.
I saw Uncut Gems. That was
that
Great
was, That
movie.
was a crazy
that
one
was
too.
a dope movie. I don't watch a lot of movies. I think that was like
That's
the
like
last
actually
movie that I
cool.
Yeah.
watched, but it was a dope movie.
Yeah, he's a great actor in that. When he's not doing a comedy, like even so. What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie out there in chat? I'd like to reminisce.
Yeah, let us know.
Joe Terzo says, "I've been lied to. I only see one Joe and a Tyler and a Pat." The
well,
original.
there's two Joes.
There's two Joes. There's always a Joe behind the screen, doing all the magic. And the original title is going to be Two Joes and a Tyler, 'cause it sounds like an old, early 2000s internet video. But I'm happy you came, but it was already kind of like scheduled to be that.
Yeah.
And Patrick said I'm showing up.
I get it.
I thought you were in New Hampshire, to be honest with you.
No, I'm gonna leave tomorrow. No, that's not yet. But I actually only came because we were talking last time about giving away a slot in the pistol class for the 27th of April. So I wasn't sure if we still wanted to
Talk about
do that. Well, yeah, I mean, so I have an open enrollment pistol class for 27th April. That's going to be the pistol fundamentals class, and it's the first one of the season. I'm pretty stoked about it. Out in Wyoming County. And if you guys are interested, I think we can probably get a link into the chat there, most likely. It's up on the store in our Gear Fire. And yeah, it should be a good day of shooting. It's going to be about 8 hours of training, and we're going to shoot about 200 plus or minus rounds. And yeah, it should be a good time.
I'll be honest with you, shooting on a nice day is fun, but I kind of find it a little more fun when the weather's shitty.
Yeah, I mean, the problem
Get down and dirty with it.
Absolutely.
the problem is that not everybody really shares in that like idea. You know me, I'm always down to train in whatever the
Yeah.
weather is. I don't really care.
Like that one small teams communication class we did.
Yeah, that was kind of shitty weather.
So cold, so snowy.
There was another one that we did out in like some deep snow at PW, and it was like real cold outside one day. That one was kind of interesting.
But that taught me a lot. Like that taught me, like I changed my red dots, all of my red dots out because of that. I went to a closed emitter because
you get snow and stuff.
snow and stuff. It's a shovel, and
For sure.
it sucked.
Take a lot of things for granted, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. When
You
it's
go out
sunny
there
and beautiful.
like realize, holy crap, this is.
Well, that's why you do it no matter what the weather is, because if you
Mhm.
can't, like, if you're wet and you can't perform, like, then can you really actually perform at all? You know what I mean? Like, can't let those sort of things distract you from, because you don't know.
No, you
You
don't.
don't know what it's going to be like if you gotta
You think the boys in Guadalajara
perform for
Canal
real.
are bitching about that?
Peleliu, Guadalcanal, all those.
Yeah, I mean, like this Sunday, it was super nice weather when we went out to shoot the Steel Challenge match, but I still put an enclosed red dot on it because last time before that, it was pouring rain all day.
Mm-hmm. So
This stream brought to you by closed emitters.
Which we know you're watching.
We know you're watching.
It's like an industry conglomerate, closed emitters.
I mean, a lot of technology is kind of just going in that direction now. So there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
You don't see as many like partially open housings as we used to.
I just like that with the going off the industry is all these firearms are getting optics cut.
Yeah.
Like we just all of
That is the
all of
standard now.
Mossberg's 500s and 590s, they're all getting optics cuts now. All of the new Beretta, like you're just starting to see the trend where they're forcing the narrative in the right direction.
Well, it used to be like dots weren't that reliable because like glass
Sure,
breaks,
batteries
and,
and
like, housing
stuff,
break, and like batteries die,
Internals.
and like
Get all cattywampus.
yeah, and a lot of them you would have to like take the depending on the optic setup, you would have to like take it off of a gun in order to like change a battery or whatever, and then your zero gets fucked. So you know what I mean? Like now you don't really have all those issues. Like dots are pretty much as reliable as
in the
ions.
past decade. The leaps and bounds that we've come from the Trigicon RMR to now we have hundreds. Even cheapo companies are still pumping it out.
I see so many guys rocking like Swamp Fox optics.
Swamp Fox is a big one.
Stuff,
CH Precision is starting to do their own line.
CH Precision,
dots.
yeah, that seems kind of interesting in a way because they've been doing optics.
They've been doing plates for so
plates
long,
and
and they
stuff
finally
for a
said,
while.
"Why don't we get our grubby little?"
I still think Holosun's probably A tier.
Of course they are, because they sell
so
to the
good.
Chinese military.
They are the Chinese military.
Yeah,
we're
pretty
just, we're
much.
just testing it out for them.
That's why they're so good.
I heard a little grapevine told me that Olight is getting their mitts into red dots as well.
Really?
Yeah, they're just removing the Holosun logo and putting optic, but it's the Olight O for optic.
So when it blows up on your rifle in your face.
No, but like in all seriousness, like Olight is because I heard they are getting rid of O-Buy in like their knife line,
Yeah. They're
and
getting rid of
they're
that.
doing optics.
That'd be cool.
So
Olight like nods. I can see that.
that's might be a little too far.
You think?
A microwave radars?
I mean, the internet hates Olight, which makes me sad because I love Olight. I've been carrying an Olight for a year now.
And I've
Yeah.
got Olight.
McArdle's got one.
Actually, I don't.
You don't? You've got this new SIG.
I got
No,
the
it's
SIG,
the-
and then I have my. Yeah, nobody should buy this, but I bought it because I love it. $300 US.
I'm still carrying PowerTac lights personally. I've been really impressed with PowerTac.
I've actually always known you to carry those.
Yeah, I've been carrying these for over 5 years, so I'm probably not going to move off those anytime soon. Especially now that they got rechargeable ones
You
and
and I sat next to the
Dual fuel
the
ones
Power
and
Tech
shit.
guy on the flight home from Chacho.
We did,
Or no,
right.
from it was from Chacho.
Was it from
BAM?
Sean?
Yeah, BAM's cool.
Yeah.
He just sat next to. I was the window seat because I'm a passenger princess, but
I did
Tyler-
a live video with BAM from SHOT Show in like 2019 or whatever.
that's cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's still on my Facebook. I share it when it comes up in memories in January.
Yeah, I mean,
Maria says, "Olay."
Olight. one Olight blew up on a dude, so used a shitty battery. Don't use bad batteries. Use good batteries.
Yes, not
I
black.
saw a video one time on Mr. Guns and Gears channel where he had an Olight that got sunk in his pond, and he claimed it had been there for like a very, very long time. And he took it out of his pond. I think it was actually like a Valkyrie, like PL2, and he took it out of his pond, and it had definitely like submerged itself in like the mud
Yeah.
because he dug it out of the mud. And so it literally, when he took it out, it had mud all inside of the internals and stuff. And he like took the hose and like hosed it all out and everything. And then I don't remember exactly what procedure he went through to dry it. You'd have to like go back and check the video. And I don't know like what sort of editing process was done or what it like. Who knows if it was even the same light? But allegedly, he was able to take that light and put batteries back in it and fire it right up, and it even like would change modes and do like all of the things. So, it was a video on the internet. Take that for whatever it's worth.
Sure.
And I'm sure he got
What do you
paid. Yeah, indeed.
The internet. I don't understand what you mean.
Well, sometimes the internet will lie to you.
Wait.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, I know it's weird. We'll talk about it.
Just
more.
being an asshole? I don't understand the joke.
I thought the edit feature of Wikipedia was just there.
No, I thought like trusted individuals got to edit those pages. I thought the government.
I thought Wiki and Pedia were just able to talk to each other.
I've edited Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, me too. I remember doing a project on Abe Lincoln in like 2007, and I changed it to like he died in a volcano on Wikipedia.
His real name was Babe Lincoln. Or something.
Yeah.
Good.
I think I was on like some 2A related page and they were saying some stupid gun control nonsense, so I just changed it. I was mad about it.
Good job.
Yeah, we're internet warriors.
Why not?
What have you done for this country, Pat?
Wow.
I mean, precious little when you think about it. In all point of fact,
Thank you for your service.
in all reality, not as much as some. I'll tell you that. Asshole.
That was out of whatever pocket. We'll say the front pocket.
Oh, you guys are silly.
My
See, Joe DiFrancesco gets it with Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham. Turzo just says Jesus, Tyler.
He's on one today. I don't know what's going on.
I didn't take Alpha Brain.
Oh, okay.
We're not
Which
we're
Joe
not sponsored
Rogan,
by
we know
Alpha.
you're watching. When do we make it to Austin,
Send us some
Texas?
Alpha
Send us some,
Brain.
yeah. I want to be on Kill Tony.
Clearly, the stream would not be harmed by Alpha Brain.
I don't want to be on Kill Tony.
I would love to do a Kill Tony, which Tony Hinchcliffe, we know you're watching.
They'd
too.
yell at me. They'd be mad.
That's okay. That's the whole point. That's
So
why
you
you
just gotta
want
lean
it.
into it. Dude.
Yeah, you push back. You just see red and start swinging.
I mean, if they ask you about interesting facts about yourself, we've got a couple axes to go off of.
I've got one or two.
Some good stories.
What'd you guys think of the eclipse? Gemma asks.
It got
dark.
dark.
Yeah,
But it got light.
I was inside of RPO at the time.
You didn't even go out to look?
No, what the fuck? It was all cloudy and shit. Look at what?
Watch it go.
There was
I'm gonna do this
there
for
was
3 minutes.
nothing to see.
It was cool. It was interesting to see, or not really see, but hear. Like you could tell, like the birds were freaking out.
Right.
Yeah.
I started seeing bats, and like it gets the light again, and like because the birds aren't real, so they're like trying to figure out what they need to do with it.
It was really like, it felt weird, like just watching it. Like, all right, it was starting to get darker, and then just like hit dark.
Yeah.
And that was just really weird to watch the environment just like.
And you know, it's like 3:00, and you're like, I'm wide awake.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, I live in Brighton. It's like a complex, so like my neighbors were out. There was like
like
30 people out. Like
people in my everyone was setting off fireworks
really?
and stuff. Yeah, I'm like, oh,
That's
it's
cool.
small arms fire. Cool. This is
Yeah, we heard the fireworks, and some of the kids over at the neighbor's house, they're like, "Is that a gunshot?"
I live in the part of the city where I actually get to play that. Fireworks or gunshots?
yeah. I had Planet of the Apes playing in the background just for educational purposes.
I was watching a Twilight series.
You too?
And then it was cool to like watch it just like it just light. Like it was
Get
weird.
bright,
It was
yeah.
weird how quickly it got bright. But it was cloudy. I didn't get to fry my retinas, unfortunately.
See?
Classic Rochester, though.
Just-
Imagine if you came from like the UK.
right.
Yeah.
Paid thousands of dollars to come to my garbage city. And
Maria was outside work and she said people were climbing on top of the Chipotle. Like they were just like they were scaling the Chipotle and they were just like up there. Like that's gonna make that whatever 12-foot difference.
Yeah,
It's
That's
really
great.
I'm really doxing where I live, but I live close to the old asylum in Rochester, in Rochester, Brighton, and it's. I want to say it's probably like 20 stories up, and I have always wanted to urban explore. A lot of you guys that have watched the stream
true
know
one
that.
too.
Brandon and I explore a lot, and there was definitely like 15 people up there. I saw them on like the roof.
That's wild.
Yeah, I sent a picture of the
With
Discord.
how much security is out there, I am surprised. Or it was security. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
But it was cool. I've always wanted to go there, and to be at like up on the roof during the eclipse.
Oh.
Sure.
That's cool.
That's not the tallest building in Rochester, but like for
Yeah,
Brighton,
it's
that's
pretty
definitely-
tall.
it's-
Like it's the tallest building in that area.
Yeah, for sure.
which the cell reception was incredible.
I was off my phone.
Just
I was
living in the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The dark moment.
You get it. Joe, how was your week?
You, Joe. Me, Joe?
You, Joe.
Oh, my week was good, I guess.
Cool.
Was there something different that you're with me almost every day, so you kind of know how my week
But
is.
our friends aren't.
It's good. I'm excited about the building.
Thought you were gonna say the Bills.
I'm not excited about the Bills, honestly. Rest in peace, Diggs.
We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Dude,
Right
once
on.
he's done with Houston, how much do you bet he goes to Kansas City, does the complete villain arc?
Yep. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Joe said that he wants to go to the old subway tunnels. Man, I've been down there like 30 times. I'll take you. I love it. I love giving tours of the subway.
I think I got down there by accident one time. Like, oh, this stairwell looks cool, and you're all of a sudden you're stopped. So where
This man's just wandering.
and I'm just going to tell you guys there's an easy way to get there, but
next to the dinosaur.
no. So you can go across the bridge on the other side of the library where you can get into like the little convention center. There's a back area where you can park like your loading vans if you're like dropping off catering and stuff like that. Where the old RG&E outlet is, you can jump across and it's just open right there.
Huh.
Like the
How long ago was this?
like the Secret Garden, probably like a year and a half ago.
I'd like to have you show me that spot. I'm trying to think about where that is in the subway.
It's on the other side of the library. So there's the two bridges.
Yeah.
So on that one, on the second bridge, not the one with the bridge with the dinosaur.
Okay.
You just go literally hop, skip, and jump the way.
It's fun. We've been down there a couple times. Remember that one time we went down there and there was that car chase?
Yeah.
That was wild.
Car chase in the.
There was so
It was pretty near.
we drop in by Nick Tahoe's and there's probably like 8 of us walking and
There's a big.
we're like walking down and it's like down like a hill
Mm.
and there's the road and there's like a giant median in the road that's like grass and telephone light and
Yeah.
just lights. Sorry, not telephone lights. So like there's one way streets and this car comes skirting wrong way and there's 2 cop cars chasing it and like the dude gets out of the passenger window and like sits on it and reaches back and we're all just like, fuck, he's gonna start shooting. Like he didn't start shooting, but that was, dude, I've never seen a police chase from me to you away. That was wild. Then he went like over the median.
We had a
too.
police chase that didn't end here, but it was our parking lot was part of the police chase. Remember the guy in the U-Haul pickup truck?
No.
This was 2 summers ago. And Genesee County was chasing a guy in the U-Haul, like one of the U-Haul pickup trucks. And he zipped into our parking lot, realized, oh, I can't do anything, and then ripped out again.
I did not know that.
Look it up.
That's crazy. Good for us. Stopping a guy. We're known for something. we did our
I don't know if he
duty.
stopped him. He kept going, so who knows what.
We should get some tax incentives for
Good
that.
for us.
Yeah, right. Can we get discounts to U-Haul?
We helped.
I'm doing my part.
We helped.
Turns out there are a lot of ghosts down there.
I'm helping.
I'm doing my part. There was something I wanted to say. I don't recall.
You'll think of it.
It was a great stream, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, good job.
That's the U-Haul pickup.
That's the U-Haul thing.
The ghost of the pickup truck. What was the
Guys, what was I going to say? Please remind me.
That was your week.
Yeah, how was your week?
Yeah,
How was my week? I had a fine week. I don't really remember what happened, but
So it was really
I know it was fine.
Sounds great. Good.
Got to spend time with the wife during the eclipse.
Sweet.
Did some work. We're actually okay. So I guess as far as work goes, it's pretty good. We're really kicking off our crowdfunding, I guess, like the sticker
Yeah,
packs,
for
and
sure.
skateboard and stuff. So
Sure.
I've been hounding away at new sticker designs and shirt designs and Freedom Weekend shirt designs, and like I'm like starting to sweat when I have email up with 6 different people. Like that's always fun.
That's how it goes, man.
It's a good week, busy.
The grind. Good.
I mean, speaking of Freedom Weekend, you're still, getting vendors and all.
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. Yeah. Know any vendors? Hit me up.
If you're a vendor yourself.
If you are a vendor yourself.
do cool craft stuff.
We are
What do you call that?
still
Craft, it's
looking-
called craft stuff.
Crafts. Yeah,
Crafts.
not the mac and cheese, but
Craft
arts and crafts
Crafted things.
with a C, not a K.
What are some of the vendors that are going to be there?
So we
already
have
a
like our sponsors, RPO, Honey, all that stuff. We plug them every stream. We
There'll
have
be
Honey.
knife workers, woodworkers.
Yeah, we have Spangler Forge coming, which is so dope. He was here a few years ago, but it's never worked out.
local legend, if you
Yeah,
must.
he was on Forged in Fire.
Yeah.
Right. Was it Forged in Fire or Forged in Flame?
Forge and Fire.
Forged in Fire. Yeah.
Fire in the Flame is a
Dragon Force.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to be here. I'm super pumped for that. I see him at events all over Rochester. Our really good friend Peter from Peter's Pickle is going to be here again.
Sweet.
If you did not meet him last year at Freedom Weekend, you were just wrong. You need to shake his hand or give him a hug. He's
a cool Rochester legend.
Yeah, he's
so
all
if you
over
go to
the
any
place.
other shows that have vendors like your local market and stuff like that,
You'll see Peter.
you'll see
He's just such a great human. I love him.
Does he have that like pickle de gallo or whatever? Is he one of the people that makes those?
He does a relish of some
Or
sort.
like it's a relish or
Yeah. I don't know if
It's
he does that specific. He has like a corn relish too. I think is that what you're thinking of, or like an actual pico de gallo?
I'll have to look.
I don't know if he has anything new either. I'll be honest. I'm not a pickle guy. I don't like pickles, but from what I've heard from people that do enjoy pickles, he has great pickles.
Pete's Pickle is.
He's got a great pickle.
I get very excited about like spicy pickles.
He's got some spicy ones. I'm pretty sure. You got to let me know what you think.
I think I want to say that I tried some and maybe even purchased some.
He
It
does.
seems like I wouldn't have had a pickle guy here without purchasing some.
We'll get a jar. Pickles make me throw up. Not really throw up, but they make me gag. We'll get a jar. We'll all share some pickles, and I will have the 4th pickle on purpose of my entire life
Okay.
on stream after
Good.
Freedom Weekend.
You'll sit closer to the door.
Yeah, I've already puked in the
Well,
stream.
he's got a
once.
window like right there.
That's true. With the
Well, I don't want to be on camera. Like,
Hey man.
the one chip. Were you here for the one chip challenge?
I don't think he was here for that.
I puked.
no.
I puked for that one.
I bet. Speaking of hot stuff, right?
We're gonna do hot ones right now.
No, I should have brought my hot sauces. April went to a place where they had a bunch of different hot sauces, and she got excited and she bought like a gang of stuff. And so I have the hottest hot sauce in the universe.
Prove it.
Bro.
Do a line.
I had a little bit. And it is.
Did you send a waiver?
Well, no.
Couldn't have been that hot, dude.
I have that.
No, he signed the waiver with his credit card.
I have been to like a wing place with like a waiver signing type of wing.
Yeah.
That was like pretty crazy.
I thought of a question we can't really bring up and explore on stream because of the internet, but
Sure.
the hot sauce could be fun to experiment with.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it when we're not on the internet if you want to.
Let's do that.
That's fine.
Joe asks, are we doing anything for a grand reopening, or is that going to coincide with Freedom Weekend? Originally, it was supposed to coincide with Freedom Weekend. That's kind of how I built it this year. Unfortunately, we might be a couple of weeks delayed. I am seriously hoping we will get a temporary C of O so we can let you guys walk into the new shop. Remember that Thompson is just building the shell. We are building the internals, so it's not really going to have a whole lot in there. It might not even really have lights, but you will at least be able to look in there and see how grand it looks. Or maybe Brandon and I and Joe decide, like, you know what? Maybe you can just look in through a window, but you can't really step in yet because we want to keep some secrets. I don't know. We haven't really docked that far yet. We were supposed to have it all done and open by then, but construction delays, it happens. Jamma asks if Chicken Out is going to be there again. Unfortunately, we have not heard back from them. I really wanted to get Chicken Out again. So far, we've got our town.
They're doing a lot.
They're doing
They're
a lot.
really doing a lot.
They're killing it. I'd love to have them back
Can't
out.
be
though.
upset if they can't make
Yeah,
it.
no hard feelings. We're gonna have the local pizzeria there. Gregory's in the morning making breakfast sandwiches and selling local just baked goods all day.
Their stuff is very good.
If you've not had one of their cookies, again, you're just wrong.
Their breakfast sandwiches are
Phenomenal.
extraordinary.
Yeah, I don't know if they make their bread in house. I imagine they do.
They
Great.
definitely.
They definitely do. I don't see why they wouldn't. Phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Who else do we have? We have Islands Hawaiian barbecue for Sunday. So they're gonna do, pork-based stuff and coconut shrimp and other like Hawaiian delicious food. I'm excited for them. And somebody that was here last year that was really delicious, Ford's Pocket, they reached out to us a while ago, and it just, I don't know how it got lost in the shuffle, but it did. So I reached back out to them a couple days ago, hoping that they'll be able to come back out. They had like the hot dog, hamburger, and taco on a bag cart. Very delicious. So hopefully they'll be here too. But again, we're still looking for vendors and food suppliers. So if you have any ideas or know anybody, send them to the shops. Email.
Yeah.
Anything else for you, Mika?
I think machine gun shoot is always popular. I know that I'm going to have some RPO folks that are going to be excited to shoot machine guns. I couldn't do it last time. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We're gonna definitely have some fast firearms
There's the giveaways.
and giveaways. That's what. Thank you. We're still working on giveaways, but you know us by now. Freedom Weekend. It's not really about the money for us. We just want to throw a huge party and thank our customers. It's more of a customer appreciation. So we're always giving away a ton of stuff. This year we're actually going to give away like 20 handguns.
Giving away a gun an hour.
Yeah.
A gun an hour. That means you could hypothetically win 10 guns in 2
If you hang out all
10 guns a
day,
yeah.
yeah, 10 guns a day. So that's exciting.
That's dope.
If you do, you might have to see if you're cheating.
Probably going to fight you and take your guns, but
Doubt I can't win all the guns.
yeah, doubt
You
I
can win a couple.
doubt I could probably even beat you in a fight.
Yeah,
Two.
true.
Jabba just squares up.
Believe that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited this year. This year, we're hoping is going to be the biggest one yet, and we're only going to keep trying to make it bigger every single year. So, if you guys can think of ways to make it better, let us know. Things you've noticed or wanted and didn't get. But really, if you know, I mean, honestly, if they know what you want, they don't have to be a vendor. If they know,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you know anybody, pass
out.
the contact
Yeah.
information. We're on. You can get it from Facebook. You can get it from Google. It's info@thefiringpinny.com. Again, info@thefiringpinny, as in New York or November Yankee.com.
Penny. Remember
The
it as
Penny. Dono, we might be doing a 50-50. As a business, it kind of feels weird sometimes to do a 50-50,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
we need to rebuild. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Might be like a 60-40. So to be there, as long as you're there to get a ticket to fill it out, there is some stipulation. You can't just show up and fill out a ticket. We are going to do it, so you have to go to our different vendors and actually have a conversation with them. You're not just going there getting the ticket in Bolton. You got to actually have some good conversations, and then they will give you a ticket and fill it out.
Well,
So
not over the
you have to
loudspeakers.
at least be there to do that. But as long as your name and phone number's on there, you can duck out if you have to. We're not going to make you stay for 10 hours.
What better reasons do you have to do than hang out with us all day?
That is true.
It's Freedom Weekend.
I might bring my camper again to stay overnight.
I'm going to stay up all night because Joe snores really loud and I couldn't sleep.
It's a conditional.
It's
There will be fireworks, so if you guys want to come, because we're going to do a bonfire again this year, I would say.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So,
for sure. There's always an after
Come
party.
on, come and
It's a
hang.
flyer right there, so
Yeah.
But
Come and hang.
they're not our fireworks. They're the Village of Virgins fireworks. To
But
be
we
clear.
do have the best.
We do
in
have
my
a pretty
opinion,
damn
it's the
good
best
pretty good
sound.
vantage
Yeah.
point.
And if you guys want to set off your own fireworks, so long as
Bring
theirs,
them.
if theirs is done and you're not competing with them, go for it.
Just make sure they're New York State compliant, okay?
Yes. So in that case, just bring sparklers. All right.
In that case, just yell, pop.
Scream pop from the other room. We'll call
Bang,
it.
bang, bang. Donna, we'll have plenty of shade for you. You can nap. You can nap here.
I mean, if Joe brings his camper, you can just borrow it during the day.
Joe's got to be okay with that, but
Yeah.
we'll break it
Yeah.
for you.
Tell you
You
what,
can talk
the Tatro B&B is now open for business. That's the guarantee. Yeah, so it'll be far, far away, Joe. The new building is going to be pretty much all metal.
It's actually going to be
so-
in the building because
we're-
there's nothing in there. So
And there he is. Oh, Gemma's got a good spot.
yeah, because we could see her house from here pretty much.
I thought she was like she has a good spot to set up fireworks.
And she has a good spot to nap. I've taken 1 or 2 naps there. I don't know why I decided to check my email during the stream. That was weird.
That is weird. Decisions were made.
Do you guys want to talk about tyranny?
Let's talk about
I
it.
do.
the whole
I
reason
do
for this
enjoy.
show. We have 20 minutes
I
left.
do so enjoy talking about
I thought you
tyranny.
said you enjoyed it. Like,
I do so enjoy those discussions.
getting my feather.
I do enjoy tyranny.
My feathers ruffled talking about tyranny.
I enjoy tyranny because I get to tar.
Elaborate.
So
I need a pulling thread.
We're waiting.
An article hit. I don't really have the article in front of me because we're going to play it. There's two kind of videos that I wanted to show everybody and I wanted for us to watch live. We're doing this a unique way, so I hope the timing works out. It might be weird. I'm sorry to the cartoonist if he has to do some in-depth editing.
Does he know he's the cartoonist?
He knows he's the cartoonist, I'm pretty sure. So this first one is about, I'm trying to even remember, studies on people being afraid of guns and recommendations for keeping gun safes and how we're not doing anything. But I think we'll play the video whenever Joe has it up.
The shootings in Louisville have intensified the debate over gun reform in this country. A stunning new survey out today reveals that nearly 1 in 5 American adults say they've had a family member killed by a gun. For Black Americans, that jumps to 1 in 3. Tonight, CBS's Nikki Batiste looks at the emotional toll of America's gun violence crisis.
It's more than tired. I'm weary.
After the latest mass shooting, Louisville trauma surgeon Jason Smith says he's had enough.
There's only so many times you can walk into a room and tell someone they're not coming home tomorrow. And it just breaks your heart. When you hear someone screaming, "Mommy" or "Daddy," do something. Because doing nothing, which is what we've been doing, is not working.
In a major new survey on the impact of gun violence, the Kaiser Family Foundation found that 54% of those surveyed said they had either personally been threatened by a gun or witnessed someone being shot.
I am part of the 54%.
Ashley Kurtzinger was one of the study's lead authors. To her, it's personal.
My sister was riding in a car and was accidentally shot in the back by a passenger carrying a loaded gun. So thankful that she survived, but I can tell you firsthand it's impacted my family.
And so many others. The survey found 1 in 5 have changed or considered changing their child's school. More than 1 in 3 have avoided large crowds, such as music festivals in some of the many places mass shootings have occurred. Kurtzinger grew up in Louisville. Her family still lives there.
We all checked in with each other yesterday. It just brings up, all of the memories and the pain that she went through in her recovery. And so it really has an emotional stress.
The survey also found that about a third of parents with a gun in their home keep it loaded or in an unlocked location. Ashley Kurtzinger suggests pediatricians talk with families about gun storage and gun safety. Nora?
That is very alarming. Nikki Batiste, thank you very much.
Very alarming indeed.
Very.
So, I feel bad that lady was shot. Like anything that we're about to say, I just want to first off and foremost say I feel bad for anybody that gets shot for the wrong reasons, just for simply being a passenger or whatever. But I guess with that note, I'm hoping he was carrying a loaded gun. If you're carrying a gun and it's unloaded,
They said
personally
they said
carrying it.
passenger. They said passenger. They didn't say it was here.
No.
They said. But you're absolutely right. That is, I wouldn't, I guess, outright say that was a statistic for gun violence. I do think that was a violent act that was avoidable and a mistake.
Would you even consider it violent though?
That's
if it's an act just negligent.
Exactly.
Negligent.
When they said they were part of the 54%, the 54% said that they were threatened.
Yeah.
Or had personal
Or
experience.
personal experience.
So
I guess,
crossover.
yeah, there's but
I have
it's
I have questions about the data.
I pulled where they got this report from. It's from the KFF Americans' experiences with gun-related violence, injuries, and deaths. I pulled that wherever they got all that information from, and I did some research on it ahead of time, and it looks like they pulled a lot of their data from. So the survey was conducted on March 14th, to the 23rd of 2023 via online and telephone among nationally represented sample of 1,271 adults. There's 8 million people in just New York City. So
1,200 people, but where do these people live?
They don't specify. They said that 1,271 U.S. adults in English, 1,198 of them were in English and 73 were in Spanish. The sample includes 986 adults reached through an SSRS opinion panel, either online or over the phone, and they give the number 33, or N equals 33. And then they also mailed through random samples and an address-based sample. So I guess they just mailed it. I don't know. I mean, if you're mailing it to people, it's kind of the same argument with voting. With people going door to door, like pandering for votes. Like if you're going to go, you can go to a city and hit an entire apartment complex, which are going to be in a city, and you're getting thousands of people that are typically Democratic or left leaning. As if you go out to the rural areas, you're going to get like maybe 30 people in 10 miles. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know exactly. It doesn't say what demographic. There's a few other demographic questions I had regarding that. But I also kind of wanted to say, sorry, I'll just go into the demographic. So those living in urban areas, this is about being afraid. Those living in urban areas are more concerned about the threat of gun crimes, injuries, and deaths compared to those living in other types of areas. About 6 in 10, or 62% of adults living in urban areas say gun activity is a consistent threat or a major concern, compared to about half, or 48% of those who live in suburban areas, and about 3 in 10, or 29% of rural adults. I guess I just want to see in the study, like, where they didn't account for how many guns, like, are there more guns in the rural area compared to the city?
Well, all that identifies is people who have said that they are afraid. So, okay, so they're afraid. They're more concerned about the threat of gun-related crimes, injuries, and deaths. So it stands to reason that people that live in urban areas would experience more concern over those things because of where they live.
Yeah.
Because there's more concentration, there's
more
a higher
population.
concentration of people, right? So any higher concentration of people, you're going to get more crazy people in the population.
Of course.
And they're going to do more crazy things. And some of those people are going to have firearms, unfortunately. Now, you're not putting that genie back in the bottle, right? Pretty much no matter what you do. Like, there are more guns allegedly. There are more guns that we know about than there are people in this country, which means there are a lot more guns that we don't know about.
Sure.
So there are like way, way, way more guns than people, right? So, like, I don't know what they think that we're supposed to do with this information other than, like, enforce the law better around people who violate the law and, like, violate, like, the non-aggression principle, right?
Sure.
And stuff like that. Because, like, the same people that say that they're concerned about gun violence will also tell you that we should be letting more criminals out of jail.
And we should stop letting good people with guns.
Right, and we should
guns.
stop people have the right to defend themselves using the guns, right? So, like,
that's also my argument.
What are we supposed to do with this information?
Is those people probably are not really pro firearm and don't want to have the means to defend themselves. So of course, like, they alluded to it there. Like, I think the video said 35% of people aren't going out to large venues such as concerts and stuff.
Well, they're just living in fear in general.
The one concert. That showed,
of course. But, like, I'll be honest, I go to concerts. I don't let that stop me. But my big thing about not being able to go to a concert is I cannot carry. Like, I hate that I'm disarmed. That is when my anxiety starts coming in, because I cannot protect myself.
Well, but they don't even have that instinct to, like, arm themselves.
Because the government's there for you.
Yeah, it's because they're concerned someone else might have one.
They don't
you
right.
can't have.
Yeah.
So it's totally different. So we can agree on what the problems are, right? We can agree that there's like too much violence in cities. Okay, fine. But like, what do you want to do about it? Is the ultimate question. Like, do you want to defend yourself against the violent people? Well, no. You want somebody else to do it for you. Well, there's nothing I
it's
can.
exactly that. People are like, we need to do something. Okay, who's the we? Who's the royal we? Because you don't want to do something. But you're
Right,
saying
and then the thing is like we have to do something. Like you heard in the video, that surgeon, that trauma surgeon guy. Somebody should. Right now, we're doing nothing. We should do something. Well, once you start doing something, the problem with doing something is if that something doesn't work, then you have to do more something, or you have to ratchet it up, right? So you can start going down a bad path and get poor results, and then have to go further down a bad path, and like.
He was from Louisville.
Doing something. Yeah,
so he's pretty loose.
That whole news article was in Louisville.
Yeah, but then like you look at Chicago or New York City where they do a ton, and it's no better. So that's a very beaten argument, but it's so. I mean, how can you fight that?
Nationally, we're already doing a ton. Like it's hard to get a gun.
It's not.
Believe it or not,
it's not as easy as I'd like it to be in America.
And it's gotten harder. I mean, like now that we're dealing with New York State for background checks and stuff instead of doing it through the federal government.
Yeah.
Like there are more delays. There are more people that, you know what I mean, have to wait while the background check is being. So like the barriers that they identify as far as like making it more difficult to get the guns. Well, we're doing that. And like you're saying that it's not solving the problem. Well, have you tried punishing criminals to see if that helps? Have you tried, like, actually enforcing the laws that exist? Because that might be better than, like, trying to just do something. Because when you start doing something, like, who's doing something? Well, it has to be the government. It has to be the government that does something. I want the government to do less than they're doing. The shit that they're doing now, they're already fucking it up. They can't get the things right that they're supposed to be doing. Why would we put more responsibility on their plate when they've proven that they can't handle it?
So I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, but they kind of contradict themselves on the next page. Overall, most adults say that they feel very, quotes, very, parentheses, 41%. So 41% of adults feel very, 41%, or somewhat 41% safe from gun violence in their neighborhoods. The groups most likely to say they feel not too safe or not safe at all from gun violence in their neighborhood are amongst the groups most likely to say they worry about someone or their loved ones being a victim of gun violence.
Yeah, because the gun violence is closest to
them. 1 in 6, 17% of Black adults say they feel not safe at all from gun violence in their neighborhood, and a substantially larger share compared to white adults, which is 2%. So 2% of white adults 2% of white adults feel not safe at all, and nearly twice as many as Hispanic adults. So 9% of Hispanics say they don't feel safe.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, we would want to look more deeply at some of those statistics to figure out like where are those people living, and then like who else is living there that might be committing the crimes, and then like what do any of those numbers tell you anything more that would be like helpful? Because none of this is actually helpful. All you're saying is people are afraid.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so they're afraid, and what action are you trying to like? Where's the call to action, and what specific action is being called for?
So,
and then the lady that when they were introducing the woman who like was in charge of the study and everything, she was saying that her sister had been a victim of gun violence and everything, which again, you know, my heart goes out to her. I feel badly for that. That's a terrible thing. Nobody wants that. But at the same time, so isn't there like already an interest there for her to like be more invested in finding some sort of a solution to the problem of gun violence, right? Because she already feels like she's identified what she thinks the problem is. She doesn't think it's some asshole in the back of a car, like in a moving vehicle that her sister's a passenger in with a firearm that is somehow or another involved in shooting a person. Like we never really get into the meat and potatoes of how that happened.
Yeah,
because there was clearly a human error. There was clearly a lot of human error involved in that whole equation.
Yeah.
But we make it about the object. What if they would have crashed the car? Would you be calling them to ban cars?
Sure.
Like what is? I don't understand like what the motive. I mean, I think I understand what the motivation is. It seems pretty clear what the motivation is.
There's an agenda.
But they're not. Yeah, but they're not really saying what the actual agenda is, which is even more kind of annoying.
To continue, while a majority of adults, 82%, say that they sometimes or less often feel a loved one will be the victim of gun violence, whereas a small but important that they or someone they love will be a victim of gun violence. Small but important shares say that they worry either every day, 8%, or almost every day, 10%. I'm going to chalk that up to just kind of what Joe was saying. It's just fear mongering. On Instagram and Facebook, all I see is people getting shot, like the gun violence aspect of things, and all over the world. But our posts where we're just taking pictures of guns are heavily getting censored, or we're following rules and putting out gun safety tips, and that's getting
Because you
banned.
can't promote the positive aspects
Exactly.
because then how are we going to push the negative aspects, and how are we going to keep that as like at the forefront?
So all people are seeing are the negative aspects of firearms. Of course, they're going to be afraid.
Well, that's when all you see is bad stuff happening, then you feel like that's the only like outcome that there could be, right? But in reality, like a lot of us use guns every single day or sell guns.
Touch guns for 40 hours a week.
Right. Or you know what I mean? Like we do various like sporting aspects with guns and whatever,
Yeah.
right? And we educate other people. And like the education piece is what I think is never in these conversations. Like these conversations are never pushing. We should make people more intelligent about guns. We should make sure that people have proper information. They did say something about proper gun storage, which
we'll get to in this.
I do kind of like appreciate that element of it. But when they say that we should start like getting pediatricians like involved, now I'm like, okay, we take a trusted adult and then we stick that trusted adult in between the parents and the kids in some weird way, and like the state is involved in that, and that could just seems like it could get weird in a hurry.
So
I don't like
for the statistics on that, again, based on this population, I don't think that 1,200, almost 1,300 people is nearly enough of a sample size. But 1 in 7, 14% of adults say a doctor or other healthcare provider has asked if they own a gun or if there are guns in the home, while 1 in 4, or 26%, of parents of children under 18 say their child's pediatrician has asked them about guns in the home. 4 in 10 adults, which is 41%, report living in a household with a gun. More than half say that at least one gun in their home is stored in the same location as the ammunition, 52%. 44% say a gun is stored in an unlocked location, and more than 1/3 report a gun is stored loaded, which is 36% of the sample. About 4 in 10, or 44% of parents of children under the age of 18 say that there is a gun in their household. Among parents with guns in their home, about 1/3 say a gun is stored loaded, which is 32%, or stored in an unlocked location, 32%. More than half of the parents, 61%, say any gun in their home is stored in the same location as ammunition.
Okay, but like, why aren't we asking questions about like, is the child like aware of the location of the gun? Have they received any sort of education on the firearm and whether or not they should be handling the firearm, or under what circumstances they should be handling the firearm? Like,
in my opinion, like, why does your child have access to the safe? Like, if you're keeping your guns in
but
the safe.
see, that's never made clear is my point, right? We don't even actually know like what are the various like controls that might be in place.
It's just a yes, no. It's not a
very in-depth analysis.
The narrative is very.
Oh yeah, there's definitely
one
like
way,
kind of like an agenda in this. So this is kind of like the entire article I just want to hit on, because I did a little survey. There's 5 of us here. We'll get to you last. McArdle, if you don't mind me asking again, do you know anybody? It said 1 in 5 adults. Do you know anybody that has had any kind of injury or death relating to a firearm in your family?
No.
Same question.
No.
I personally have not. Patrick?
Yeah, obviously.
Family?
It
doesn't say
friends.
Yeah,
No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. you could categorize it in that. It depends on the definition, right? Like
I would say a gun as your just like a handgun, a long gun or a handgun, or a pistol or a long
like
gun.
having been used or threatened against a member of my family,
Threatened, used, or suicide.
Suicide, family member, not sure. Put a pin in that.
Were they military?
Yeah, I'm totally discounting those
Okay.
guys
Because that's my big question.
in this conversation. No, like what about a defensive use of a firearm? Are we putting that in the same category?
They didn't categorize that. They
See,
have,
but that's
Exactly.
another question, right? Because like my brother, for instance, has been involved in a defensive use of a firearm like himself.
we'll put a pin in that for
So,
later.
like,
But they talk about that in there too.
So that would be like,
They
potentially.
So again, the clear answer isn't not like there isn't a yes. It's pretty much no all across the board, and there's 5 of us in here. Right? There's 4 of us.
There's
in
4
here.
of us.
So we did it earlier, and there was 5, and it was still all no. So we've actually had a sample size of 10 and 0 out of 10. It says, this is my big question: is are they considered were they told to exclude military? Because when you add military into the mix, like those numbers.
Well, I wouldn't categorize, like if you're asking, like that would be like asking me, have you ever been involved in defensive use of a firearm? I'd be like, well, no. Right? Because like I don't put that in the same category. That's like a work. First of all, it's like a work thing.
Yeah.
It's not like my personal life.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's not even in the continental United States. So there's like a whole different discussion around that.
But that's not clear to me. Like if the people in this survey.
Well, so point being, it depends on who's asking the question, and it depends on who's answering the question. Because the other thing is, like when they say, "Have you or a family member been involved directly?" Like some of those people could be family members. Like what if they asked my wife April the same question and she read it a different way than I read it, and then she would be like, "Well, yes, my husband
was in the military.
Has been and she might not even give all of that information.
They mailed a lot of these people, so
right. So she might just fill in the survey like 100% he has, or right. So like
19% say a family member was killed by a gun, including death by suicide, and nearly as many, 17%, have personally witnessed someone being shot. Smaller shares have personally shot a gun in self-defense, 4%, or have been injured in a shooting, 4%. In total, about 54% of all U.S. adults say they or a family member have had one of these experiences. It's just hard because are you interpreting this as like a gun personally shot a gun in self-defense? 4% have personally shot a gun in self-defense.
4% of the people that
we know that there's a lot more like defensive uses of firearm that don't involve actually firing the gun.
Correct.
Don't want to get too much into it on air, but I've been in a situation where that has happened.
Sure.
This whole study or this whole, I'm going to drop a link to this in the Spotify and YouTube channel.
Right, and yeah, for clarity's sake, my brother's situation was a situation where no shots were actually fired, but like
I'm happy they at least differentiated it.
Right, but so yeah, like you don't actually know like what the context is behind some of the answers, or what even the context is behind the asking of the question.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of information there that I feel like is missing, and some of those questions could be leading in certain ways, and some people could interpret them in different ways, depending on the phrasing.
Yeah,
so
they keep it simple, so that way no one wants to dive into it.
Well, you kind of leave it a little bit open ended, maybe, and then you
vague.
get more right. So I don't really know, man. Like, is that information like even useful, even if it's true? Let's put aside whether or not it's true, and let's assume that it's all accurate. Does it actually solve anything?
What's this going to do? It's not going to make society's not going to be safer tomorrow.
Right. And like, what's the proposal for alleviating all of this fear?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're actually talking about in this whole thing, is how people feel. And so whether or not they feel good, I don't really care all that much if they feel good. And if they don't feel good about living in a city, then maybe they should move. Right? Or maybe they should like vote for better politicians in the city that they live in. right? Like there's a lot of solutions to that problem that don't involve infringing on other
Yeah.
people's freedom. So
Mhm.
I don't really have too much sympathy for those sorts of people.
The one saving grace about this whole, I say study with air quotes, is on page 4. It says about half of deaths, 55% in the U.S. Involved with gun. I'm gonna restart. About half of deaths in the U.S. involve guns.
Involving guns.
There's sorry, I cannot read.
Yeah.
So about 55% of gun deaths in the U.S.
Are suicide.
are suicides.
Yes.
So I pulled that statistic because they put a link in the article, which is always nice. I love when they provide their sources. And the link they reported was, I think the 55% has probably been a consistent for as long as they've been keeping this track.
That number
is very
is
consistent.
relatively
So
constant.
it doesn't matter what year it is. But they took it from the CDC.
Yep.
So this is notes from the field, increases in firearm homicide and suicide rates in the United States, 2020 to 2021.
Okay.
Of course, they picked the year with the highest spike in gun crime, gun deaths.
Well, it's a better number.
It's a great number,
It's gonna
right?
give you a better number.
So I'm going to have our guy put this chart up somewhere in this area. But in 2020, all-cause homicide, every way somebody has died in 2020, 24,574.
Okay.
To compare, in 2021, 25,987.
Okay.
So all-cause homicide. Firearm homicides in 2020, 19,383. In 2021, 20,966.
So like 3/4 or 80%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All-cause suicides. So now we're doing suicides. So every way somebody's committed suicide in 2020, 45,957. 2021, 48,023. So suicide has gone like considerably higher than homicide was. Firearm suicides in 2020 were 24,292, and in 2021, 26,320.
So over 50%.
Oh, well over 50. So when you're talking about, at least they're differentiating now, finally, homicides and suicides involving firearms, because I remember in the past that they would just
40,000 people.
45,000 people have died from firearms.
I mean, it seems misleading too, because like how many people are killed, but it's not a homicide technically, because it's like vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
Does that not count towards the death statistic of people that have been killed?
Well, it doesn't count towarth homicide, right? Because it's not
Yeah.
counted. It's not
So
like legally
I
a homicide.
So that's statistically skewed because a death or a death that was caused by another person that involves a gun is statistically more likely to be a homicide than a death caused by another
Well,
person.
it's always in that case, right? Like even like when you define like a justified shooting, right? Justification is a legal defense against an offense, and the offense is homicide, right?
Right.
So you're always going to be eligible for a homicide charge, and usually like it's always going to be viewed in that way because it's one person killing another person.
Right.
So the question then becomes, can you go to court and justify your actions using the 5 rules that govern the use of force in defense of your own life or the life of another person?
If they even decide to do that.
If they decide to take you to court, well, they have
Or
to.
if they can even use those 5.
Well,
They
that's
can
always good. Those things are always going to be the determining factors, right? It's always going to come down to innocence, imminence, proportionality, reasonableness, and means or opportunity of escape. Those are always going to be like the things that they're going to ask a jury to consider.
And to get back on cars, I didn't pull. Because I always love to compare the car statistics. I didn't pull. I remember doing a paper on this 10 years ago, my senior year, and the number's pretty much the same. I didn't do it for 2020 to 2021 because for the same reason they would choose to go with firearm violence during that time because it spiked so much. Well, in 2020, nobody was really driving, so of course it's going to dip really low. But the most recent study, I want to say it was 42 to 45,000 people killed in vehicles.
Right.
So still, we have more people dying in cars than with guns. I would say. I don't know. Do you think more people own cars than guns? I
More
own one
people,
car.
yes.
I own one car, but I own a couple guns.
Right. So that's the difference, right? Is like the people that own cars, they don't own as many cars as the people that own guns. So the numbers aren't going to be able to. It's not going to be easy to like parse those numbers out. But I would say that yes, a higher proportion of the population is going to own cars than the proportion of the population that's going to own guns. So, yeah.
But I did pull another study that hasn't. I'm kind of blessed to have never had it really affect my family, but I know a lot of families have to deal with this. Drug overdose deaths in the United States, and I chose 2020. Again, I know I could have done the most recent studies, but this study decided to bring 2020 into this. I brought 2020 into it as well. Quickly, there was an estimated 93,331 drug overdose deaths in the United States during 2020, which is an increase of 29% from 72,151 in 2019.
Okay.
That's wild.
Okay.
Wild. But still, guns are the issues. There's 93,000 overdose deaths, but there's 24,000. All deaths bad, but I hate that you could sit there and read those two numbers and still pick firearms as being the issue. Yet open drug scenes and injection sites and clean needle exchanges are still good.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I mean, like, I like liberty for people. Like, I want people
Yeah, do whatever you
be
want.
free
You want to shoot up
to
heroin?
do their own thing.
I'm not going to stop you.
But at the same time, like, you know,
Do it.
Just goes.
No.
at the same time, it's pretty clear that, like, you know, the public health risk from drugs is very real.
Like way more real than firearm risks.
I don't know. It's hard to like. It's hard to.
I guess the
really-
biggest difference is firearms, you're going to be a victim, whereas drug overdose, typically it's people doing it to themselves. But they are victimized if it's.
Well, like if you have a drug dealer, right, and that
Fentanyl
drug dealer, if that drug dealer gets drugs
Laced.
that are
Yeah.
right that have a bunch of fentanyl,
Fentanyls and meth,
in-
fentanyls and everything.
right in the drug, and then like he starts selling it to a bunch of people. A bunch of people could potentially die
They're victims.
from like one source of the problem.
I'm going to change that statement because I think a lot of these people, these 93,000, I don't think anybody goes out. I mean, there are people that are addicted to fentanyl, but like, I would say probably most of these, I'd like to see the study, I'm speculating. I would say probably most of these didn't even know that they were taking fentanyl. They were probably taking something else and it was laced.
So that's the other thing that a lot of people have pointed out is like, in the case of that, should we really be calling it an overdose or should we be calling it fentanyl poisoning? Because like they're actually being given something that they're not, they didn't actually sign. I mean, they signed up for it in the sense that like, if you buy drugs from some random dude who bought it from some
Or
other
if you buy it
random
from somebody
dude,
you typically buy and they just happen to get a bad batch.
yeah, well, that's the thing is like, there's always going to be a random dude that can get
There's
into
always
that
a random,
mix.
yeah.
There's always going to be, there's so many variables. Like, you
I know where
just
my
don't
Glock
know.
came from.
Yeah, but even with like the drugs that you know where they came from, right? Like the pharmaceutical companies, like not all of that stuff is good for people. Not all of that stuff is actually like, you know what I mean, long
Argue
term.
most of it is not good long term.
Right. So I mean, pick your poison, I guess. I don't really know why I chose to go there, but the point being, like, when you're using drugs, you're taking a certain amount of risk. When you're using guns, you're taking a certain amount of risk. But we can mitigate a lot more of the risk around guns out through educating people on the proper like use and storage and transportation and all of that stuff, and like building a culture around guns. It's a little bit
positive
more healthy,
culture.
right? Because that's the problem is like we spend so much time pathologizing all of these things that we don't actually try to like build up a more healthy conversation around them. So how are we ever going to change that trajectory? Like how are we going to make people so they feel less fearful of firearms? My argument would be, well, if they had their own firearms and they were a little bit more educated on the topic, they wouldn't have as much fear
Exactly.
around guns generally, right? So
That's why I feel safe. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm not carrying, I'm anxious. It definitely feels weird not having protection on me.
I go out of my way not to go places where I know that I'm not going to be able to have a
100%.
gun with me, right? I go when I leave tomorrow to drive, I'm going to choose my route in such a manner that makes it so that I'm legal to drive with my gun on me the entire time. I'm not going to drive through Massachusetts because then I would be subject to Massachusetts law,
Yeah.
right? In New York, I'm going to be fine. In Vermont, it's constitutional carry. Once I hit Vermont, it's constitutional carry the whole way. Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So,
Breath of fresh air.
right. So once I get out of this godforsaken hellhole, and you know how I feel about hellholes.
Thank you for your service.
What service? You just told me I did. You just told me I did fuck all.
Compared to what Josiah and I do with the internet?
Oh, you guys are doing great things for God and country.
Did you just compare yourself to?
Great things for God and country all day, every day. I should be thanking you, realistically.
You're welcome. That was a
all
fun
right. Are we
stream.
done with this or what?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns, bitches, gripes, complaints? Guys, go sign up for the pistol class.
Pat wants to eat.
Yeah, I have kids that are in college.
Think of my kids.
Think of my children. This is how I'm trying to feed my family. Come on. My kids got to eat every day. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't want to give away this class anymore. You know what? We're not giving away this class.
I really wanted to. We just don't have a good idea. Like, how would we do it?
Feeding your kids?
No, if we were going to give away a slot into the pistol class, like here toward the end of the show.
Bring two people who are anxious or, I guess, nervous about the whole world and everything like that. Maybe have never shot a gun before.
We're going to do an event like that one day.
Don't like twist their arm or convince someone lie to them or something like that. But get them interested. Bring them into us, and we'd love to talk to them. And if you bring them in, just like a voucher, do that. You want to take the class with Pat? Hey, I brought in two people, and they wanted to come back after that. They weren't scared.
That's a good idea.
We'll hook you up, and we're going to do events like that in the future. I can't wait to have the new shop back.
I'd love to have a round table community, not outreach, but if you have questions, because that's all it is. Fear comes from what you don't know, and the fear of the unknown is scary. And you might not be scared if you get the right answers from the right people. This is not the right people because they're not asking the right questions. You can ask the right questions to somebody that can answer it properly. And
which is why, again, kind of what Brandon has said,
we strive to be that, I guess, extension of the love of the community because we want to build that community.
Yeah.
It's not some sort of crazy cult. It's not some sort of bunch of anarchist people that are trying to do this. There's more to it. There's a lot of our country was started with a bunch of people that were like-minded, and we want to try to keep that, I guess. But it frustrates me when I hear this and see this from an author of a narrative that they're trying to do on what they want. And that's just them. That's a personal thing. It's not what everyone might want. It's what one group wants or what one person wants to convince everyone else that that's the new way we need to do it. Mm-hmm. So ask us stuff. Bring people in. We'd love to answer questions. And I guess build that family and everything. As Bob Marley said, one love. Bring it.
Yeah. The older I get, the more Kaczynski seems right.
More my back hurts.